Well, it's Saturday afternoon and I'm just doing a bit of rolling. I've been desperate to keep an eye on this field because I know I wanted to roll it. This made a little bit of a mess when I come in here spreading muck after I took the first cut off. So I came in here less than a week ago, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, with a fertiliser spreader and just made a right mess. I don't know whether you can see, that's where I drove. I got launched around the middle and I had to pull out because it was just sinking. So I've just been wanting to make sure I get back in here with a roller before it gets too dry, because it will very quickly just dry out. And I think, to be fair, I just come and had a look. I just came down before to have a look and I was like, I can't believe how much it has dried. But I think it's just right. I think if you left it another day or two, it'd be too dry, because it does seem to be rolling down okay at the moment. I haven't got into the big ruts yet, but yeah, it hasn't half knocked the grass and it wants spraying. The whole field's coming in dots. It's only 2.5 acres, so I'll have to see if I can find anything else to spray. I think to bother putting the sprayer on, or else I could come in with a knapsack and do it, I suppose. But it doesn't matter how thorough you try and do it with a knapsack, I find I always miss some. So we'll see. That's what I'm doing. I've just been to have a look at the long field, the new field of hay that I took on last year, and oh, I just don't know what to do with it. The ground looks fit enough to travel now, maybe. And the grass is reasonably nice. It's not gone really dead. You know, it's all gone to seed, but it's not, you know, it's not like dead. It's still a bit green. And but the problem is the ragwort. The spray has knocked all the weeds back, and it's sort of stopped them going to seed, but it's not killed them. So there's a ragwort plant, and it's not, you wouldn't say it's thick with ragwort, but you could walk 10 paces and there's one single plant every 10 paces that, you know, you can see, and it's all the way across the field. I was sort of thinking, well, if there's patches I can mow around them and come and flail them off, but there's not patches, there's just one plant every 10 paces all over the whole field. And apart from that, it's a lovely crop. It would be a lovely crop of hay. So what do you do? I just don't know. Apparently it's just as harmful in silage as it is in hay. I thought that maybe it was more poisonous once it wilted, but apparently not. Apparently it's just, from what I've read on the internet, it's just as harmful in the silage clamp. So yeah, there's too much to pull. You know, you'd need a team of 20 people in there for a whole day at least. You know, and then you'd have to drive all over it with a trailer. I just don't know. And it's too big a crop to flail off. I haven't got a decent flail mower anyway. So by the time you borrowed or hired a flail mower and spent God knows how much diesel in flailing it all off, you're going to be left with a load of old grass on the top. And I don't really think that's an option. So what I'm thinking is maybe to mow it and ted it and hopefully make it into hay, and then round bale it but not wrap it, because I just don't think it's worth the cost. You know, it's £10 a bale, or maybe even more this year, to wrap a round bale. And you don't want to be spending that to wrap a round bale that, you know, is not either saleable or feedable. So I think my plan, you know, I'm welcome to ideas, but my plan is to try and make it into hay. It should make quite easily because it's not fertilised, it's organic, so it's not a thick crop, and it will be pretty dead by the time I cut it. So make it into hay, round bale it, and maybe just leave the bales outside, either in a line somewhere, or I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But leave them outside and just like roll them out over the winter in my cattle passageway. Roll them out. Maybe I could pick out the ragwort that I can see, you know, as I roll them out, and then just let the cattle stand on them. They'll probably eat them for the first couple of hours until they get really mucky, and then they'll just stand on them, and then I'll just tip it up somewhere and let it rot away for a good while, and then spread it as muck. I honestly can't think of anything else to do. That will at least have a value. It will save me a load of straw. Cattle will eat some of it, and it won't cost me the earth to, you know, to bale it. I'll only have the cost of baling. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know what, you know, maybe you think I'm doing the wrong thing. But that's my plan so far, and it all depends on the weather. Because if we don't get any hay weather, it's not going to happen. But I mean, I'm hoping we will. We've got 4 days now, but I don't think if I'd have mowed it yesterday, it might have made, but it's too late now. I haven't got time to do it today, so it's not going to make this week, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm just rambling on. I'm very sorry. These videos are getting terrible for rambling, but it's just that kind of year, isn't it? So, anyway, I'm going to roll this field and see if I can get it a bit flatter. Well, now I'm in the field where I was spreading fertiliser the other day, so we'll see how this goes. Ton of rolling. These are the not so bad ones. In a minute, if this, oh god, that looks wetter than I thought it would be. If this rolls out, I'll go over to the wetter part, but let's see how it goes. It's not rolling too bad. I don't know what it's going to be like in there. Wetter than I thought it would be. It was wetter than the field I've just been to. Borderline too wet to roll, but what I've done is made it better, hopefully. I mean, I don't think any grass is going to rush to grow there, but at least when it does, I might be able to drive over it. So now we're going to head over to the really bad ones. Surprisingly, they don't look as though they're full of water. I thought they would be full of water. I mean, these really want a digger, I think, to put all the soil back in the hole. Oh, I thought these would be full of water. I'm really surprised. I'll be amazed if I can pull a roller through this. But I seem to have managed it. Amazing. Around, and I think there's some more the other side of these trees. This green grass on the headland is going to have grown back by the time I get around to cutting this. So it's going to make it difficult to make hay, because I think the problem is that you'll be flicking the green bits of grass in every time you drive over it with the tedder. Oh, there's more ruts down here than I remember, but it's almost too dry, they're not really squashing in. To wash my window. I do keep shutting my window because there's a lot of horseflies in this field, and if you leave the window open, the cabinet's full of them. Right, I'm just going to keep going up and down these ruts. can never get it right, can you? Some bits are too wet and some bits are too dry. So I think the fact that I'm not getting stuck is a good sign. So time lapse this bit. Oh well, that didn't work out too badly at all. It's certainly not flat, but it's a lot better than it was. I think, I mean, what it really wants, I mean, these ruts here, it's like pushed all the soil out of the ruts. You need to either come down with the digger and level it off, or really it wants a power harrow through it, doesn't it, and some grass seed chucking on top. But another reason why I need to put my power harrow back together this winter, it's on the job list, or even before the winter maybe. And then really that corner, the corner over there, there's a ditch that goes all the way around the outside of the field in the trees, and it wants a channel digging from the ditch into the field and putting a pipe in, put some stone in it really. So yeah, and then it wants one here. There's a pond here, and it wants a pipe putting across up to the middle of this field somewhere. There's lots of lot of jobs like that to do, but just you never seem to get the time to do it. Apart from in the winter and when it's too wet to do it. But we'll see, maybe this year might be my year. Well, I see that as a little victory anyway. So I'm going to leave the roller here, because I might want to come back and do it again maybe once it's settled. Now that was the last little bit I wanted to do, so I'm going to drop the roller off, and then I'm going to go and row up some headlands now that I've mowed. And then it'll be all night moving those bales. Probably there'll only be a load or two, but by the time I've rowed them up, so yeah. And I've got cow jobs to do as well, so the day will be gone. I think tomorrow I'm going to need to put the sprayer on and go and spray that 5 acres, those two little fields, because they're covered in docks. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Right, and now we're raking headlands. Well, this is the hay that I was talking about yesterday, which you probably only just watched. So forecast has changed overnight. We've got another dry day, so we've got Sunday today, so we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I'm just going to mow it, and I just don't know. I talked to my friend about it last night. He's got a very similar field that he's silaged, and what he's going to try and do is maybe just put the odd, feed it to his cows just very, very gradually, so they're not exposed to a load of the ragwort in one go. But yeah, so I'm gonna go for hay. At least then I won't have the wrapping cost. Whether it's the right thing or not to do, I don't know. It probably isn't. It'll probably backfire on me, but that's my plan for now. I'm going to mow it. Well, I'll try and mow it. If I don't get stuck, it's a wet field, but from where I've walked around yesterday, I walked halfway up the field and then back along the other side. It didn't seem very wet underfoot, but until you get in it, it's very difficult to tell. So I've lifted the mower up a bit because I don't know what it's going to be like. It could be very rough. It almost definitely will be rough in places. So the plan is to just mow it high, get the grass off it, and then, you know, try and spray all the ragwort out of it after, you know, in a couple of weeks' time, hopefully. That's the plan. So I'm going to crack on with mowing. Our second time round. It's not going too badly. As you can see from what's on my left, there's a hell of a lot of work to be done. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about with this field, if you haven't seen my other video, it's a new field to me. I've just taken it on now. Before now it's been farmed by my neighbour who farmed it organically for the last, I don't know, 10-20 years. And he just literally took 1 or 2 cuts a year off it with his forage wagon. So it's never had any muck, it's never had any fertiliser or spray. And every year I think he mows it a little bit further into the field, which has resulted in just a mass of hedge plants, hawthorn, black brambles, all kinds of weeds. All the hedges have never been cut. Trees are all overgrown. So the field could easily be, I'd say, at least an acre bigger than it is if it was tidied up. So there's a lot of work to do. I think the first thing I would do is come in here with a little tractor and flail and just have a go at the brambles. And then later on in the year it needs a session with a hedge cutter. But there would be a lot of branches to cut back as well in time. I've just found the ruts where my neighbour got stuck. He got his forage wagon stuck in here trying to do a second cut a couple of years. Oh, I'm in the ruts now. There's the rut. I didn't really intend to fall in it, but I wasn't paying attention. I knew about those ruts because I actually had to come and pull him out about 2 or 3 years ago when he got stuck. So I knew they were there somewhere and they haven't got any better. But the field's actually so far drier than I thought it would be. I thought the mower would sink down a bit, but it's riding very high. It's barely cutting anything, to be honest, which in a way is good because I don't really want tons and tons of rubbishy hay. If you can see here, these marks are where I've sprayed. There's some ruts. Oh, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Those ruts are just when I come in. When I came to spray it a couple of months ago. So the spraying was sort of successful, but it's certainly knocked everything back, but I think the ragwort was too far gone really for it to kill it completely. So, but it certainly probably saved everything going to seed. That what is actually gone to seed is just grass. There's no weeds, seeds knocking about. And the ragwort that are there are only young plants because they've almost like nearly died and then come back to life. It's the sort of stuff that probably just wants setting fire to get rid of it. But it's mowing very well actually. I'm quite encouraged now that I will be able to make hay in these 4 days because there's barely anything, because I'm mowing it so high, there's barely anything getting cut, if that makes sense. Oh, it's rough. I do have a tractor with some suspension. There's a couple of big pits in it, although that one is dry. fields, one of which is behind that hedge somewhere, and the other one is the other side, which is a little meadow paddock that joins onto my 4-acre field. So that's another reason why I was keen to get it, because it's very local. It's only a mile down the road, and it sort of fills in the block patch of land that I've got with fields either side of it, even though there's no access. There's no access into either of the fields from this field, but it's still nice to have a block of land all together, isn't it? I think I'm going to have to stop in a minute and clean the radiator out because this tractor's getting quite warm. It's quite tough going on the mower. It doesn't like being lifted up in a really thick old lay of grass. It prefers to cut it off low, tight to the ground, this mower. It doesn't really like short grass. A lot of people say to me, oh, those Tarot mowers, they're good mowers. I noticed someone in the comments said that they were good mowers. It is a really good mower for its age. But yeah, that's one of the worst things about it, is it does not like mowing short grass. Maybe all mowers don't, but I don't have a lot of experience with many other mowers in mowing short grass. But yeah, it just sucks all the power out of your tractor when you're trying to cut short, either young grass or grass that's just very dense in the bottom. It's weird, you'd think it would struggle more with taller grass, but it doesn't. You can have a massive big crop of like Italian ryegrass, and it just eats it like it's nothing, like it's not even there, and leaves a really good job as well. Whereas when you're in short grass, it tends to really leave stripes where each blade, because the blades don't really run flat, they run like that, which is maybe one of the reasons why it mows well in certain types of grass. I don't know. But yeah, so it's making the tractor work a bit. So I'm just going to let it run for a minute to see if it cools itself a bit, and then I'll switch it off and clean the radiators out. So, a few problems. I've just got back from Mowing, and this spool is blowing oil out of the drip pipe. So I switched them round, hoping that anything that squirted out would just go straight down here and straight down back into the sump, but it comes out quite a high pressure, so it's still leaking everywhere. So, and then the tractor's been flashing up oil pressure light flashing just as I was leaving the field. So I've just taken the battery and everything off the front and just power washed the radiator out, because I thought it was maybe a temperature thing. But I've just started it up now, and it flashed, the light flashed once and then it's gone off. So I'll have to see whether it comes back on again. And the other thing was, the mower fell down a rut, and this piece here where I've welded snapped off. It's done it before, so luckily I had a big bolt, so I managed to just bolt it on, which got me through the rest of the field. So yeah, anyway, I've welded it all back up now, and I've washed the radiator out. There's not a lot I can do about the spool valve. I'm going to have to get a new one, I think, because it's just causing me so much grief. Unless it can be resealed, but I don't even know if you can take them apart. So anyway, I'm going to put the tedder on now and go and ted me little 2-acre piece of what will hopefully be hay. I'm not going to go tedding where I've mowed, because it was very squidgy and soft on the ground, and it's not a very big crop, so it won't take any harm just lying where it is and let the ground dry out a bit, I think. So yeah, going to put the tedder on and go and do that little bit. I'll just have to use my spare spool valve, but this spool valve's horrible because the lever's really stiff. What do you do? my tether's doing its swinging manoeuvre. I obviously need to tighten up the slides. It's got like nylon blocks on each arm to stop it to allow it to swing when you're turning, but to stop it from doing that when you're going in a straight line. But I don't know, it doesn't seem to work very well. All this tether wants to do is just swing from back from side to side. I replaced the blocks, I think last year or the year before, and it certainly helped, but it just looks as though they want tightening up a bit. But yeah, I'm back in this field I cut yesterday. Hoping it won't take long to make, like ted it again tomorrow and hopefully it'll be done. My little 2 acre piece that I've been in tedded before I came here, I didn't film it, but that doesn't look far off to be fair, so I think that'll bale tomorrow, and then hopefully this will bale either tomorrow or the day after. Probably the day after. What day are we on? Probably Wednesday. So yeah, I could just do with another tractor here. Just don't know whether to ted these wet bits, whether I should leave them in the runs. Whether I'm doing the right thing. If I ted the grass out, the ground isn't going to dry, and if I don't ted the grass out, the grass isn't going to dry. So what I found out actually is when I was mowing that this end of the field where I am now, which is the far end of the field, is actually really clean. There's nothing. I think in this whole block, maybe this third of the field, I think I saw 2 ragwort plants. So yeah, I just never walked down this far. I walked a third of the way, well, nearly half the way up the field, and it was just all that end of the field is just full of ragwort. So I think what I'll do is when I row it up, I'll row it up separately, and I'll try and bale this for like good hay. I don't know whether either small bale it or round bale it. It'd be a lot easier to round bale it, but we'll see. Oh, it's a job to stay awake doing these long runs in this long field. Oh, absolutely knackered. I think if I had auto steer, I probably would have fallen asleep by now. Driven straight into that house. I was just there thinking about. Well, I've just changed this thing. This is the one that was leaking, and it was throwing all its oil out of these, which I assume is the leak off for the quick release. When every time you couple, it lets a bit of oil out of here, and then that goes down a pipe straight back to the tank. But it was it was pouring oil out every time I worked the spool in one direction. So I don't know whether you can. I don't think you can take these things apart, so whether that's just now knackered, I don't know. But anyway, I found I had a spare one someone gave me a couple of years ago, which was this one, and I found it in my workshop. It didn't have any seals in it, so I put new seals in because I had a spare one, and just tried it on the off chance, and it seems to work. It doesn't leak, so no idea why it was given to me or what was wrong with it in the first place, unless it was just literally the seals, the front seals. So hopefully that'll work. The tractor keeps flashing up. I've just been tedding with it for an hour, and it was fine. It didn't flash, the lights never come on, and then I just turned it back on after I was fiddling with the spool valve, and it's flashing up saying that the oil pressure light is flashing. So Mark says he's done a bit of research and it could just be a dicky sensor. So I think we're just, for now, we're just going to have to ignore it and carry on, because I can't see that there's anything wrong with any of the hydraulics. And I can't really just stop using it at the moment. I'm just going to put my sprayer on. I need about 400 or 500 litres in it. I'm going to go and spray the 2 little fields that I was rolling the other day. That's what I'm going to do, because they're covered in docks, so this will be the second cut. So that's what I'm going to do, and then at some point I need to try and get this baler out ready for tomorrow, which is buried in the back of this shed. So I'll have to drop the pressure washer off, move everything out of the way, and put it on that tractor. I might even have to bale with it on that tractor because, well, I don't know. It depends how much time I've got. But I need to just get it out anyway and grease it up. I think I pretty much had it serviced up, ready to go, when I put it away. There was something that went wrong with it the last time I used it, but I think I've fixed it. I hope I have. I think it was, yeah, one of these, one of the rollers that rolls on this. You can't really see it, but it's right in there, snapped off, and it's done it loads of times. I just keep welding the thing back on, but it's so tiny and it's so awkward, it's very difficult to get more than just like a blob of weld on it. But anyway, I think that's what happened, and I welded it back on before I put it away in here at the back end of last year. So hopefully we'll just get it out, grease it up, and it's good to go. So yeah, anyway, get the sprayer on. So I actually ended up not putting the sprayer on, and I went topping in my sheep field next door, because I thought maybe it was a bit too hot, and yeah, I just thought it was maybe a bit too hot in the middle of the day to go spraying. So as soon as I put the camera down, I changed my mind and decided to put the topper on, and I went and topped about 7 acres of overgrown grazing grass, and then I came back, dropped the topper off and put the sprayer on and went spraying. So I have actually done the spraying, and it washed it out and dropped it off again. So there we are. I just rolled a round bale into that bunch of calves. They've just stopped now. When I went to get my camera, they were running around like mad, and they aren't half coughing. There's so much coughing going on. I don't know, it's the hot weather or pneumonia or what, but all 3 of these have had some antibiotics, because that one in particular looked really bad yesterday. They have drunk a little bit of water today, but they haven't been drinking water, and they're not eating solid food at all. So the rest of them aren't too bad. I did have to, I think I treated one of these a couple of days ago. But yeah, I mean, this bunch, they were a good bunch. But it's surprising how when you wean them, some of them just tear off and look really good, and others just sort of, I don't know, there's like a bit of a plain one in the middle there. I think there is a bit of pneumonia, because these weren't coughing too bad when they were in the pens, and yet in the last week or two they've got worse and worse. So I don't know if it's the shed. We had quite a few breezy days recently, so it's not like it's been dead still in here. It's quite still today. It's really muggy. But yeah, the forecast has changed. We were supposed to have until Thursday night dry, because today is Monday. But they're saying rain Wednesday now, Wednesday afternoon. So it leaves a lot to do tomorrow. Luckily, I think everything I've got down that I've tedded today is pretty dry. I'm hoping to get a chunk of it baled tomorrow, if the tractor decides to not play up. But I've just got those other things. I've got sports day and God knows what else to do tomorrow, so it's just going to be one of them days. But yeah, anyway, we'll see how we get on. I'm going to end the video here because I can't remember what I filmed, but there's probably enough for a video. So, I'm going to get these fed, yeah. So, hopefully there'll be some hay bales maybe in the next video. Not very prepared, but when are you ever? So, right, thanks for watching anyway, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.